I can be buying, but this will be like short or scalping, like short-term trades, like I'm just scaling on. This is just scalping, right?
I know this one is a downtrend, so it's push.
The one thing about candlestick is you always have to wait for the candlestick to close. Done with the class, and it was really amazing. I'm just at the park right now doing a little bit of back testing and also talking to a few people. During the class, that was before the class, one of my students came to me and we had a little conversation, and he asked me a question that I felt like, wow, this is something that I can share on YouTube, because it was really powerful and it was something that I've been through before. So I was like, why not share this thing on YouTube, you know? So he was like, whenever he's trading with a very small capital, like $100, he can easily flip it to 200, or he can easily make profit. But once he starts trading with 10K or 20K, he begins to panic, you know, he begins to be scared of the losses and all of that. So what can he do? And it stood out to me because this is something that I experienced before, you know, in the market. So I really understood what he was talking about. So this is what I had to tell him. See, you have to think in percentages, you know, the power of thinking in percentages. This is what I told him, the power of thinking in percentages. Because now think about it. When you are trading, you might be lucky to be trading with a certain amount that you have not even seen with your eyes before, or an amount that has not been reflected in your bank account before. For example, right now we have prop firms, we have people trying to pass challenges to be funded with 300K, 400K. Meanwhile, or maybe you've not even seen this 300K before. You've never handled 300K, 400K before, right? So the mindset, your mental faculty have not handled that kind of amount before. So when you have that amount in your trading account, it becomes very heavy for you to even control, right? But when you think in percentages, this is what I'm trying to say. When you think in percentages, it becomes very easy for you to, you know, manage these accounts, right? So whenever you are trading, you don't have to place a value on a number, right? You don't have to place a value on $10, $20. Remove the value, replace the value with percentages. What am I talking about? So now let's say if you have $100, right? 1% of that $100 is $1, right? If you have 10K, 1% of that 10K is $100, right? So here you will see that I'm not really putting value on the numbers, right? I'm just talking about percentages. If you have $100 and you make a profit of $1, and I have 100K and I make a profit of $100, we have both made 1%, right? I'm not looking at how much you are making, but what I'm thinking about is the percentages, right? This is how you can easily manage, you know, big funds. So now, whenever you are trading, you have to make sure that you psych your mind. You need to understand the power of money, right? Because money, there are so many rules to money, how to handle money, the mindset to even handle money, right? So you need to understand the power of percentages. So now let's say you have $100 and I come to you with a bottle of water and I tell you, this bottle of water costs $1. Are you going to buy? Based on the money that you have in your pockets, $1 is not really expensive, right? So you're probably going to buy. But this is what I said. Let's remove the value from that number. Let's not call it $1. Let's do the math. You'll see that it's just 1% of your $100, right? So literally you are buying the bottle of water with 1% of your capital. Done. Now you have $1,000. I come to you with that same bottle of water and I tell you, are you going to buy this bottle of water for $10? If you do the math, that is still 1% of your capital, right? So it's not really about the value of money that you are dealing with right here. We are talking about the percentage that you are taking out of your capital. So again, when we do the math, it's not expensive because you are basically buying the bottle for 1%, right? So again, if you have 10K and I come to you and I tell you, are you going to buy this bottle of water for $100 is literally 1% of your capital. If you have 100K and I come to you with this same bottle of water and I tell you, are you going to buy this bottle of water for $1,000? It's still 1% of your capital, right? This is how rich people think, This is how they are able to manage big assets, right? So the next time you go to the mall and you see someone buying a piece of watch for 10K, you don't have to shout, you don't have to scream, because that might be his 1% of his capital. Meanwhile, that might be your 100% of your capital, of which you're going to call that watch expensive, but to him, that is just 1% of his capital, so that is cheap, So this is how you have to think whenever you are trading, right? Think about the percentages. So now let's say you work a job and your yearly income is 3K, right? And you manage to purchase a funded account, 300K. You are able to pass that challenge. You are now being funded with 300K. Now, can you stand losing 3K in a day? Right? Because that 3K is basically 1% of that 300K, right? So can you stand losing that 3K in a day? Probably no, because if you think about the money, this is how much you make in a year. So how can you lose an amount that you make in a year in just a single day, in a minute, right? That is when, if you place the value on the money, right? But if you think about percentages, you'll be able to know that, okay, this is just 1% of my capital, right? So that shift of mindset in thinking in percentages, just understanding the power of percentages is really going to help you to even, handle that capital that you are being funded with. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of people cannot even handle a big capital. So if you are in the process of passing your funded challenge, or you are thinking of buying a prop firm challenge, make sure that you start thinking in percentages, right? Because there is power in thinking in percentages. That is the psychology of money. Money is a whole topic that one needs to understand, right? You need to study how money works, the psychology of money. Trading is all about psychology. It's not just about technicals. Having a good technical analysis or good technical skill is not just going to make you money. That is one aspect of it, right? You also need to understand that we are dealing with money. So you need to understand the whole concept of money. You need to understand the psychology of money, right? That is one thing that you always have to master, right? So this is one thing that you need to understand as well. That is the power of thinking in percentages. Even the prop firm companies, they understand the power of thinking in percentages. They understand the psychology of money. That is why when they give you their accounts, right, they tell you, in a month or in 30 days, we want you to make 8% or 10%, right? Because they understand the power of percentages. They just write the figures there for you to understand that this is the amount that you are supposed to make, but they understand the percentage that they want you to make, right? So that amount there is just for you who doesn't understand the power of percentages to know what you are supposed to make, but they know and they understand, right? So it's high time you start thinking in percentage, because that is also going to help you with your emotions when you are trading. Because personally, when I'm trading and I lose, let's say 2K or 3K in a day, I don't go around saying I lost 2K, 3K in a day. I'm human, right? That can really affect me, because 2K, 3K can do a lot of things for me, right? But I just say I lost 1%, because I don't want to think in I don't want to place any value on that amount that I lost, or I don't want to place value on any number, right? I just want to think in percentages, because I understand the psychology of money. Trading is all about numbers. We are just playing the numbers game, right? We are just adding zeros to the numbers. So if you have 100 and you add 1 0, that is 1,000. If you add another 0, that is 10,000. So you shouldn't let the zeros scare you. You shouldn't be scared of the zeros, right? So instead of just placing value on those numbers, just flip it and start thinking in percentages. That is how you can easily manage your account and also better your emotions and your psychology whenever you are trading. So guys, if you got something valuable, if you learned something today, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.